how's it going? My name is Chad, and I just want to talk a little bit with you today about a few different subjects, all kind of rolled into one. Because if I believe anything, I believe everything's kind of connected. So if you can go into that with this belief, then maybe you can see where my point of view comes from. I was talking about what you want to do with your life to my mom, and what I want to do with mine, and really a couple things came up. One, really, the older you get, life's pressures get more and more hard, and sometimes I think we put them on ourselves just with sheer worry. And one of my main problems is my mind is constantly going. I just can't stop thinking, and it's great if you're thinking about positive things, but most of the time, if you're depressed or see the world in a negative way, then it's not the case. And I just want to get my opinion on that out, because as I was telling my mom my opinion on the world, she made the comment, she feels like she has this, she's like, Chad, when you're telling me this, I feel this pressure on my chest. I'm like, well, that's how I feel all the time, except when I try to explain this to people. And it hurts when they don't believe me. So I mean, this, and it's not really belief, it's just, I really think it's acceptance, because what I say is, I believe it's true, but that's my opinion. So it's kind of, it's a never-ending circle. But a lot of the stuff, I guess I'm getting at, is based by a fact. I told her I wanted to be back. I want to find the person that was already there before everyone else told me who I was. And what I mean by that is, you're a little kid, you're living in the moment, it's glorious. And that's, like, I strive to get back to that when I didn't need to go out and, I'm proud to say I've had my ups and downs struggling with alcohol, but I haven't drank in a long time. But I don't have to go out and drink to have fun, or to smoke weed, or do anything of drugs to have fun, get hyped up on fucking sugar for all I care. You shouldn't have to. People should feel joy all the time just because they're alive. But life itself. Or I guess it's not life, it's society. It makes us worry so much with the money issues, and it's really, it's all about money. And I told my mom I wanted to do so much good that someone kills me, because and that's not coming from my suicidal thoughts. It's just, if you look at it, the people who've done the most good that have made you think have either been supposedly assassinated or murdered or crucified. You have Jesus Christ, you have Martin Luther King, you have Malcolm X. Even some stars have been killed suspiciously. Tupac, and he was talked a lot about rights and awareness, just being aware and wanting people to think, which is the scariest thing. Critical thinking is the scariest thing. You have John Lennon, who was killed in front of his own house. And these men preached peace for the most part. Tupac, came across violent, and I ain't a killer, but don't push me. But he was also talking about revenge, and I would like to think that he wrote that. I would like to think he wrote that song after he died, supposedly. I would like to think that Tupac is alive, and maybe I should make another video talking about the theory of seven and stuff, because I've seen some of the YouTube videos about the theory of seven, and I feel like I have a vast knowledge on Tupac and why he could be alive. But either way, I don't want to get off tangent, but to end the Tupac thing, if he doesn't come back in the year 2014, my faith in Tupac being alive in the physical sense, because obviously he kept himself alive, even if he knew he was going to get killed eventually just from his lifestyle. He was a very genius man, because by this conspiracy that he did so much help create, in many ways, he made himself, hell, he still gets put into songs today, his real voice. He has appearances in modern rap songs, like, obviously via technology, and even they write songs about him now today. There's a new song out with T.I. That was called I Feel Like Pac. It's like, I feel like Pac, I feel like Biggie. And then T.I. did a very good job in that song. But anyhow, I get discouraged about the society and how it makes you worry about life, and I just feel like there's no way out, and that's one of the reasons I meant so much. And I want to apologize to my mother right now, just for I always vent to her, and I feel that passion. I wish I could speak with the passion I have when I speak to her, because she actually thinks that I'm like mad at her when I'm talking, but I'm not. I don't feel any anger, and that's why I get confused, because I'm just passionate about what I'm saying, and it's not like I'm yelling and mean, but I'm intense, and that's what people need when they talk about what's going on with the world, because I feel like this whole system's meant is a set up way to do this, is to make us this way. You're predeterminedly told by others in school what kind of person you are, who you should be, and that's hard to break. If you like, for example, me, I'm with my close friends, I'm a very outgoing and funny person, but I get labeled very shy by most people because in school I was the quiet guy, and that kind of stuck with me, so I just carry that quietness into life, and that kind of is nice too, because it's a gift and a curse, because I think all the time, so I'm quiet, so I'm constantly thinking when I'm out in public, and you can observe and think at the same time at kind of an analytical level, and like try to break a person down, like psychologically. At least I feel like I can. Watch and see what kind of person they are, and you can develop. I try to use that to develop how I trust somebody. Watching the little things, and then seeing how that makes it into the big person that everyone thinks they are. Because really, like I said, the only person that knows you is really you, and that's the thing. So when people tell you to be you, I mean, if you're too brainwashed by what other people have told you are your whole life, then damn, that's a hard thing to do. And that really is what bothers me the most, because I was carefree and had no worries. But then I was told I needed to be number one. I was told I needed to do all these things, and that's not. I'm not trying to blame life on anything. I put it on myself. And at the end of the day, you're your best shield, and. But what I'm getting at is I've made myself into a very anxious person who, I wouldn't say I'm obsessive compulsive, but in my mind I don't have to do anything weird, like tap anything 6 times or anything. But I noticed, I'm looking back at my childhood, I noticed like things where I think I was, and I think it was because of the worry that even in high school I was instilling into myself, the worry of having to, with schooling, be the absolute best, and then it paid off. I mean, hell, really, if you look at my life, by becoming valedictorian in my class, I was valedictorian in my class when I graduated, I have had so many good job opportunities just because people knew that label. But other than that, I'm no different than anybody else. I didn't even go to college, so my name has done more for me than, in my mind, the back of my mind, it's always been, damn, why are they doing this for me? And it's all that one little name one little word on that piece of paper on my diploma. And the thing is, I've never felt like a smart person. I always just knew I could retain knowledge, and that's all that school was. I'm great at that, and that's why if a person like me wakes up, it's a bad thing, because I can retain a lot of knowledge and I can spew it back to people, and it may not seem that good of a thing to be able to possess, but if you are spewing things that are really truthful and can help other people to start to see the way things really are, then you're a threat. And that's where I get back into the whole looped process of all these things being connected into the thought of, I want to do enough good that somebody kills me, and you'd have to get pretty big. And I don't think I want fame. I just want people a lot of people to see these, because maybe it'll help them to start to realize maybe there is a reason why you're unhappy. And it's not just the little things that you see out front, the little things you think you worry about. I'm unhappy because this lady's a bitch at work. Well, really, you're seeing the shit that you hate in yourself. I really, truly believe that. And if you don't believe that, and you have humility, you need to go to like a dance that is like I've been to a dance put on by Marca, which I don't know if Marca's in every state. I don't know how that is, but Ohio has a schooling system called Marca. And it's for handicapped individuals, and you go and you watch them dance, and they don't know they're slow, and some of them probably are aware that they're slow or different. I'm going to say different, or sometimes I think blessed, because damn, they all have smiles on their face. You don't know how old they are because they all look young, and they're happy and they're nice to you. They don't worry about it. They're open. They're vulnerable, and there's a certain sense of power that comes with being vulnerable. I put up a shield because I think everybody in the world's trying to hurt me. When I picture myself walking scowled over because I feel like life has hardened me. And the thing is, it hasn't. I've hardened myself because of how I view life, and that's the point I'm trying to make. Is really it's all on you, but society is set up to make it warp. It is. It's all on you. It is. But society is set to make it warp, and that is what can change. But with the TV on, for example. You watch TV, and no disrespect to anybody I might name. Just examples. You watch Eddie Murphy or George Clooney or something. It puts your attention on what they're doing in their lives instead of drawing you in. And yeah, it's all fine in small doses and stuff. But why is a TV? It can't be coincidence. There's no such thing as coincidence that a TV puts you in some sort of a hypnotic, more suggestive state. So you're watching the news that they're telling you that's we don't know what's going on overseas. One camera, that's just one person's point of view. And it's one-sided. It's our cameraman, so he's telling the story from his opinion. From the get-go, it's opinionated. So we're being told a suggestive story in a suggestive state. As we sit on our couches, eating food that dumbs us down. If you're eating bread or GMOs, or if you're eating white bread with brominated flour, if you're drinking fluorinated water, you're being dumbed down. It's not just a conspiracy. It's the same thing Hitler did in World War II to his populace to keep them the same way we are as Americans. The only thing we have in this country is an illusion of freedom. And that's why I see this, and this is why I stress. For example, the number of banks are getting smaller. You have a lot of small banks here and there that do good, but they're locally. There's only a few major, corporate banks, and they're the ones that control the big money, and they're all owned by a few families. And the banks, if you don't realize this by now, money rules the world. The 1% pay. The senators or the congressmen, they sponsor them, their campaigns, more than we could. We may donate money to your Republican or Democratic Party or so and so, whoever you're trying to get elected, but you are a penny in the ocean of money that is being donated to them, so those people who donate a lot of money, their opinions get heard more than ours. It's just money's power in this world. And so you got the political system being corrupt, and the bigger the position, the more money involved. Therefore, the more control the people with money have. Vis-a-vis Obama is just a face. The same people have run the country for years. What are the odds of a Bush getting really in twice? And the odds of all these people being related, and just. It's too much of a coincidence to not be some sort of reason to set this up. And if the same systems stay in place and people are breeding off of sorrow, it's all negativity, and that is where it's this suggestive state to put you in towards a depressed state where people can blame life. And if you're aware of that, you at least you're aware. And I don't know if you can put up a shield, because I'm completely aware and I'm still get pretty down. But I feel like I know. I feel like I have to get it out of me and to let people know. And I feel like this is my route by making these videos. So I'm just going to keep doing the videos on different subjects that I feel, and they won't be all negative. Some will be better or positive, and hopefully we can view it like a timeline and be like, oh my God, look how depressed Chad was when he first started putting these videos on, and by the time I'm done, we'll be like, oh dang, he's so happy. But what I'm just trying to get at is it's sad that I should have to have that view that what do you want to do? I want to do so much good that someone kills me, and that I can prove it. The people that talk out about this stuff, Tupac, like I said, wasn't the most peaceful, and it was John Lennon. Jesus preached peace. He, you know, was basically, you can't know because, you know, Jesus, I mean, there's a lot of debates, and I don't want to get into religion or anything like that, but we can all agree on this. The story of Jesus in the Bible, you know, we don't know his whole entire life, day to day to day, but you get the impression that the dude never sinned, and he, you know, child teacher, you know, the dude was on point his whole life, and that's cool. But I don't know if I want a dude that hasn't learned from his mistakes. I feel like Jesus maybe was a hellion growing up, and he saw the light. But regardless, you know, you get the view that he was, you know, never sinned. But there is one story that comes to mind that he whipped some, I believe, bankers, or I don't know the Bible, so someone can correct me if I'm wrong. I know the Bible vaguely, probably better than most people should. I hate to say it, probably better than most Christians. But regardless, he even sinned a supposed sin, and that's the thing you have to remember. You know, the apostles, they betrayed Jesus. His own men betrayed him. Or at least some of them did, for silver coins or some shit. And so the guys that were writing this thing also betrayed him. They're also men that weren't perfect. Jesus was the one that was supposedly, you know, God's son on earth. So these people wrote the Bible. Even, and I'm not the atheist, or I don't even know what I am right now. I'm a lost soul, but at least I know I'm lost. and a lost soul that knows he's lost at least is trying to find something. So that's the key. You have to be looking, or else you'll never find anything. And so regardless, all these men wrote this. Men wrote this. And if we've been taught anything, men lie. But yet people believe this book that's been translated and rewritten for so many years. You know, the letter J wasn't even a letter until 1500. Again, I can hold Jeopardy might be my second option if this doesn't do the trick. These YouTube videos, because the useless knowledge that I can hold is ridiculous. But I actually, and I can remember exactly how I learned that story, and that's actually a story about the Bible that was actually talking about Jesus being black. And I know people that I told them I was like, you know, I don't know all my opinions on the Bible, but if Jesus is, sorry, I thought someone was pulling into my house. If Jesus did exist, and I'm not saying I don't think he did, I'm just saying I'm really undecided because I think there's a lot of good information both ways. But I said if Jesus did exist, I believe he was black. And I do believe that, and I can explain that. Well, I might as well go into it a little bit now, but I need to brush up for the whole thing. But it has something to do, you learn it from the story of Joseph, when he left, I think a guy named Joseph, but not Joseph, Jesus' father, maybe? Or Jesus', you know, live-in dad, I guess, so to speak. But I don't know. I'm not even going to go into it because I don't want to tell a wrong story just because I'm talking about it. But basically, there's a story behind it that I have heard that makes sense to me, that I would believe it. And just based on his region, he definitely wasn't white. That white guy you see is definitely not Jesus. Those pictures you mostly see that you associate with Jesus is some saint or some guy that lived after Jesus. But and that's the thing about that. You look at the Bible preaches that God is the Father of creation, and he made us all in his image. And yet we all look at one picture of Jesus to represent God, and we think Jesus is God. I always like to picture, you know, yes, we're all connected, we're all part of the same thing, but Jesus really had like a very, very close connection. He was tuned in, so to speak. And by him being tuned in, he knew that really he was God, just like we really are all God. So in the sense that God is in us, we are creation, we are creators, and we have been created. the Holy Trinity. But so he knew that, and so that's why you have the Father, Son, and Holy Ghost is the creation, the creator, and the created, or the, I really don't know exactly how it is, and this goes back again to one of the most important pieces of this society thing is words, and how words can trick you, and you can get lost in your own words and become spellbound. And for example, what I just did with the creator, creation, and the created, and that gibber jabber, so to speak, makes a lot of sense, can confuse people and trick people into thinking something's happening that's not, or that someone's a lot smarter or knows a lot more about something that they really do or do not. For example, one word that really comes to mind, appropriate, and words like responsible. If someone tells you to do something, what's appropriate or do what's responsible, and you may think, what the hell are you talking about? But they're trick words, because you've been told you've been taught that being responsible is a good thing. Is what, from your little kid. You have to realize it starts when you're the best time to screw up a plant. I could go out there and kick a tree right now, and I'm going to break my foot. But if I could have got to it when he was a little stubby, I would have done some damage. So you start with little kids, and you teach them, oh yeah, you got to be responsible. We got to do this with him, or else you can't have this toy. Don't hurt the puppy. Be responsible, and it teaches you. You can play with them how you want, just as long as you stay within our boundaries. Just so you stay within our rules, and so you carry that subliminally with you. People like to think their minds are strong, but they don't realize they're being mind fucked every way. Like, I feel like I'm just starting to come out of this brainwashing, and it's like I don't even trust myself, because I feel like I am still brainwashed. And it's just like, look at these words and realize how you're being tricked. For example, now you have that image in your head, and say you have this already instilled in you. So, say I'm the president, and I'm speaking to the people, and let's say a very isolated incident happens where a few people are killed in a foreign country. Media takes over. They portray it that people are being slaughtered, and alternative media is shut out. So there's only one story being projected to most people. Most mass people just get their mainstream news. They get home, they're tired from working all day for the dollar, and then they watch the news. So they're getting the story. The president comes on. He says, and meanwhile, there's a resource we want from these people. He comes to you and says, he can do it a couple different ways, but the most blatant reason, if he told the truth, let's just say that's possible, he would say, we want these people's oil, we're going to attack them, and take it by force, because they won't give it to us, or they wouldn't take our loans, and we can't force it in them by debt. So, and the American people, would be like, no, we're not going to let you do that. So he says, instead, this is how he words it. Mind you, the media has been talking about this for a few days. He says, we're the American people. We have nothing to do with this country. But because we are the good American people, the overseers of the world, the bosses of the world, the self-proclaimed bosses of the world, we are going to go here and help these people, because it is the responsible thing to do. Responsible Americans will support this. So you're saying, oh, cool, let's go help these guys. Meanwhile, they're over there growing heroin, shipping it back here, and it's opium, if you want, it's what it is, and it's all a big show for them. They're all actors. And people don't. Why would a country elect an actor as a president? You never know if he's lying or not. That just shows you how much trust you should have in your government. Reagan, with his famous speech, like especially, and this comes to mind, about the pot thing. I haven't heard the speech myself, but I've heard Joe Rogan mention it, that Reagan gave a rant speech about pot maybe being one of the most dangerous drugs ever discovered, and it's an actor telling you this shit, and yet people, how quickly they forget that he was an actor, and now he's up here addressing you, crying. I've heard the speech when he talks about drugs, and damn, he's deep, he's good, he's sitting there, and he's like, you guys have alcohol, it's your crutch. And then he's like, well, what about you being the generation that doesn't need a crutch? And I'm like, God damn, Reagan, you even took me back for a second. But the thing is, marijuana can also help so many people, but it's one view being projected to a million people who are already in a suggestive state by the TV. And if you guys don't believe this stuff, just start doing some research. Knowledge is power. Ignorance is bliss if you want to live as a slave. And that's the thing you got to get at. And on that note, I'm going to finish this up because it's probably going pretty long. But I hope you enjoyed. I'm not even sure what I'm going to title it. Maybe just random thoughts, or I might just title this video, I want to do so much good that someone kills me, because maybe people will get some looks that way. But I hope you enjoyed, and just try to stay positive, because I honestly feel like a little bit of a weight, even though I just talked mad negativity. I feel like a lot of weight is off my chest, and that's the key. You gotta do what makes you feel good. And really, I feel like even though I'm passing this negativity, a lot of people need to be awakened, and because the only way that we're ever going to get out of this vicious circle is if everyone sees it's nothing but a vicious circle.